This program is brought to you by thepodcastfactory.com.
Hey there, it's Michelle, and I want to help you to live an epic story lifestyle. So, I'd like for you to do me a favor. Go over to epicstorylifestyle.com/live life to grab a free copy of my Hacks for Living an Epic Story Lifestyle checklist. Thanks.
Welcome back to another edition of Epic Story Lifestyle. Here with me is the chief storyteller herself, the one that you are all here for, Miss Michelle Spiva. How are you, my dear?
I am well. How are you, JR?
I'm doing awesome. I feel like we haven't talked in forever, so I'm excited to be with you and be rapping with you and just hearing story time with you as always.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. And you know what? I do want to give a shout out to people. I am still surprised. Hopefully, do you think I'll ever get to the point where I'm not surprised that people tune in and listen?
I think it's always surprising when new people come and listen, and it's good for the ego as well.
Yeah, it is. So today I'm really excited because I am going to be talking about, I think, something that will really help the listeners. And I'll tell you the name of it. And then if you don't mind, I'll just get right into it.
Yeah.
I want to talk about making what you do matter. So if I had to give this a title, which I just did, I'm going to be talking about making what you do matter. Now, there is a lot of criticism, if you will, of our state of affairs at any given time, but especially now, it seems to be at a fever pitch. You know, they've called our current time the me generation, and they've called the word entitlement is bandied about so much. And there is a certain amount of truth to that. But then there is always a flip side, and that's what I like. And so today I want to turn that coin over and really talk about that flip side of why it's important and why we have this drive, even if we're not aware of it, why we have this drive to make what we do matter. Now, I have been doing a lot of research because I'm actually in my writing coach and training vein. I'm about to start up another training for turning people into romance writers. And thus, I usually like to update my skills and understanding of who I'm going to be training. So I've been doing a lot of research. JR, you would laugh at me because I have actually been all in Pew Research. I've been on the national site for some sociological studies and,
Nice.
and things, trying to make sure that I am putting my ear to the pulse point of where people are. And believe it or not, this is one of the big things that they say 70% of our population now is interested in. People are interested in how they can make what they do matter. And, you know, isn't that weird? It's totally against what everybody tries to tell us that, everybody is in it for themselves. You know, they don't care about anyone else. And the studies show that that is really not the case. And so because of that, and because we are cutting edge here, this is how we do it, right, JR? We're
That's
cutting
right.
edge. Because of that, we're able to scratch where we're itching. And I want to just put in a little bit of Michelle look, the way Michelle looks at it to help with that. Now, the thing is first and foremost, I want people to understand that when I talk about making what you do matter, I'm talking about your lifestyle, your quest for that epic life. A lot of times we can look at quote unquote epicness and think of it as something to be celebrated after we're gone. And that's really not the case. Your lifestyle can be epic right now. It can be legendary right now. It can be now where you are seeing the benefit of it. And this is one of the elements in doing that. And that is to make your life matter. Now, let me tell you some of the stuff that we're already doing to do just that. Do you realize that with every discretionary dollar we spend now, we are requiring, and I love this, we are, whether we consciously are aware of it or not, we are requiring that brands offer us value that enhances more than just our life, but the lives of community. That is why you'll notice when you have these large, and I don't want to call corporations by name, but when you have corporations willing to stop using certain antibiotics in their foods, when you have where they are having to be more conscious ecologically in the spill off and the dumps and all of those types of things of how they might be contaminating waters and things, that is because we're now at the point where what we do matters. Now, I have a very recent story, and JR, I can already tell you're not going to know. I mean, it's going to sound weird where I'm about to take this story.
All right.
And this is a true story. True story. A couple of weeks ago, Great Britain had a vote. Should we leave or should we stay? And what happened was they voted to leave. Now, the unfortunateness about this, and I don't like to really use stories that have a political bent on them, but this has a moral. The unfortunateness of this is that there was a certain generation that showed up in mass compared to the working generation and those newly in to society and able to vote. And that was this older generation. And when the older generation showed up to vote, they voted with their immediate personal needs. Now, why is this important? It's important because this generation was weaned on the teat of, and yes, I said that, was weaned on the teat of self awareness, coming into my power, and I deserve this, and do you remember all of that? What is his name? The guru, Tony Robbins, and all that, self-actualization, you can have it, and all this kind of stuff. So they were brought up in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s that it's about my power. And when this referendum was put out, it directly triggered their need for their power. Meaning, we want to make sure our health care is taken care of. We want to make sure that we are not getting used, for other people, right? And that was that generation. And it totally makes sense. What the problem is that for those who wanted to have people stay, they forgot something. They forgot to appeal to the importance of how what they do today matters for the general population.
Yeah.
By simply saying something like, your vote matters not only for you today, but for generations to come. That would have, and I think, this is my lowly opinion, that would have encouraged these generations to show up. And that is because we understand and have a need to have more skin in the game. It is not just about consumerism or consumption for us. It is about a consciousness where we have to feel like we've not consumed upon our lust to the detriment of our world. We care about our environment. We actually care about humanity and those types of things. And so that story is one that to me is very relevant for us to understand that it does matter what we do. And when we don't take that in consideration in everything, you can see the colossal issues that can come up. I have acquaintances and students that live in this area, and JR, they are sick. And when I say sick, I'm talking about physically ill because of all the repercussions that are coming, because that wasn't in their forefront, and it wasn't articulated in that if you don't do this, you've basically given up a certain opportunity to matter to yourselves and to generations. And so it's real important that if you're going to have an epic story lifestyle, that you be circumspect. And when I say that, I mean turning all the way around 360 degrees, looking at the power that you have. Yes, you do have power, like the older generation before us. You do have power. And that power helps you to do things and make decisions that really matter. Now, let me give you some statistics. Okay. For instance, now it used to be that less than 40% of people believed prior to our generations, and I'm talking about 2 generations past baby boomers, Generation X and millennials. This is what I'm talking about. It used to be that baby boomers and above believed under 40% that parenthood was a partnership. Guess what that percentage is now? 64% of us believe that it is a partnership. That is a huge jump.
Wow.
Exactly. And you know why? Because we want to have a life that matters. So when you talk to dads, it is important that they have just as much interaction with their kid as the moms, because their life matters and they want to leave a bit of that with their children. Gone are the days where you have the majority of people believing that, oh, if I provide for you, that means I care. That's not enough anymore, is it? I mean, I can just even ask you. That's not enough just to put food on the table. And so it's a different world, and it matters what we do. Let me give you another one. Almost 50% of people today are willing to pay more for a purchase that supports a cause. Think about Tom's Shoes and all these different companies that say for every dollar you spend with us, our percentage will go to X, Y, and Z. Do you realize that now we expect that? We're like, and so how much are you donating to? We really expect it, don't we?
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. And so I'm doing this kind of like a snap your fingers and wake up, because this is your reality. And this is what, quote unquote, is making you tick. And I want to say that having an epic story lifestyle is not just being an automaton to do stuff. It is about knowing the what and the how. And if you notice, I didn't say the why. I'm telling you the what, and then you're figuring out the how, because the why is all around us. The why is like the water we drink and the air we breathe. The why is we matter. The what is we do it because we're consciously connected. And it makes sense because of the fact that we do benefit from the lessons of our parents and our grandparents. We did benefit from understanding power or self-power. We did benefit from, quote unquote, becoming self-actualized to be individual. And now, because we have a sense of individuality, we can now say, I know who I am, and now what I do matters. It has to matter. You see how there's a natural progression? Am I making sense? Talk to me, JR. What do you think about what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And of course, I'm feeling kind of interested in the part where dads are taking a more active role, which is definitely not the way I grew up. But I definitely see that difference nowadays, where you want to have a bigger impact and leave a legacy. And that's more than just putting food on the table or shoes on your feet. You want to put shoes on a kid's feet in South America that lives in some mountain village that doesn't have any, right?
Right. It is almost right now 2 out of 3 dads feel this way. And the number is only going to increase. And the reason why is because we are understanding that we don't have those struggles to break out of the cookie cutter model of the Ford Model Ts or the 50s nuclear family anymore. We don't have to keep up with the Joneses. I mean, we don't have to have the same house, the same this. In this society and in today, everybody has the freedom and the privileged right to be individual. So once you have that established, what's the next thing? I'm an individual. I got that down. So now I get to put my stamp on this earth. There's a word that is very powerful when you're looking at research, and it's called nostalgia. And most people look at nostalgia as something of a longing or a painful kind of thing. And it's not necessarily the case when I'm talking about right now, because what nostalgia is, it is a wistful affection for the past that was good. You know how people talk about, oh, I remember the good old days? Well, if you go back, you skip back over our parents and even our grandparents, depending on how old we are, and you go back to those people who came out of World War I and who made it through the Great Depression and all of that. What was the thing that was really big? It was big. That was when the NATO, the EU, the Great Deal, and all of those things were developed because people were like, we matter and we can make a change. And it's just funny how a lot of times things come around 360. Or we do repeat our histories. And so, no, our making a difference doesn't look like a welfare state or any of that kind of stuff. Again, I'm not trying to talk politically. It does not look like that. What it looks like is demanding our powerful voices to be heard to corporations, governments, neighbors, and everything. One of the biggest words right now is being awake and aware. So now that you're an individual, wake up. You have more power than you thought, so use it wisely. And so that is why I am talking about how we have to have a life that matters. And so if you're listening to me right now, I want to say to you that you're already doing this. And all I'm simply doing is just snapping a finger and saying, hey, you're doing this, now consciously do it. Demand of yourself, your environment, your actions, and everything to live a life that matters. And how do you do that? Well, for one, you embrace the fact that because you're an individual and you are powerful, what you do matters. Meaning that any actions you take have a cause and effect. For some of you out there, you might be living reacting to your life. If that be the case, flip the script and turn it around where you become proactive and you cause things to happen for the better. And you'll be amazed at the stuff that will happen because you are focused on mattering. So now I just do want to have a little muse moment real quick. And it comes actually from my grandparents who were children of the Great Depression. And they used to say, and I don't have a pithy little statement, but I'll try to get to the point. And they would say simply that those you step on going up the ladder, be gentle, because you will see them when you fall off that ladder. And it used to be this ominous, oh my God, that is scary. But now I understand it that in all of our getting and all of our questing and all of our epicness, be mindful that we are connected and we do owe it to ourselves, not to anybody else. We owe it to ourselves to matter and do things that help everyone, because ultimately it comes back to us anyway. And if we don't, it won't go so well for us. So that is one of the things that I wanted to say, and I hate to smash in my time with this, but it just leads right into it. As I stated before, I'm currently working on a product to teach new people how to write romance. And I'll be honest, I don't have the time to do it. I do have a successful career as a full-time author, but I get so many people asking for this stuff. And I'm at that point now where I am doing this because I want to matter. I have a gift for being able to teach people who were not writers how to become successful and actually make money. And so this is one of the things that I'm doing. So I'm not asking anybody to do anything I'm not doing. And I find myself at this point right now to live a life that matters. So that's what I have, JR. And, I'll give it back over to you now.
Good stuff, Michelle. So next time, I believe I have here that we're going to talk a little bit about the struggle being real. Is that right?
Yes, honey. I am definitely going to talk about the struggle is real, y'all. So you definitely want to come back and listen to that one. And thank you so much for you guys listening to me. And please, I need to hear from you. Make this matter. Let me know that this matters. Go in and leave us some reviews and ratings to let me know if we're scratching where you're itching. And so thank you so much.
Good stuff. So that's a wrap for another Epic Story Lifestyle. We'll be back in your earbuds next week. Thank you for tuning in.
Yay. Hey, Michelle here again. If you like today's show, remember to go to iTunes and in the search bar, type Epic Story Lifestyle. And when you see me, hit that subscribe button. If you really like today's show, hey, come on, do me a solid by giving a rating and a review. If you've got questions, comments, or even show topics you'd like to hear me cover in the future, tell me about them when you leave that wonderful review. All right, my time is up and I thank you for yours. See you next time. Now go out, make some great decisions that give you that epic story lifestyle.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.